everybody, Joy here. It is still pouring rain outside. It is cloudy and rainy, but I closed the blinds anyway, so hopefully you can see me. Remember, I told you I was going to bring a sewing machine out here? Well, Jerry just helped me. I was going to try to use one of my many other machines, but I have heard, and now I know for sure, that whatever machine you used to make the blocks with, you should use the same machine to sew all the blocks together. I took one of my blocks over to my one of my Berninas, and I tried to make the needle go down at the exact same distance that it did on this machine when I made them, but it won't, it can't. I tried 3 different foot plates. I moved the needle to the right as much as I could. It just will not work. So, I do not want to walk all the way in there and all the way back for every 2 quilt blocks. And no, I cannot move this. If you move this at all, the little squares just start falling on the floor. So that's not good. So the quilt is all up here. I have decided, is this block 12? Yeah, block 12. This is what her quilt looks like minus all the marks I have on it. It looks kind of like a big snowflake. It looks better in the camera right now than it does on this picture for real. But my quilt didn't come out like that. I didn't like it. I didn't think it looked like this. I didn't care for it. I started out not having any whites for the background, and so I have redone, probably 4 different blocks. And I've made them with white instead of with those blues. I went ahead and I left some of the light blue in it because these, there's so many of them, it would take me a whole day and I don't want to take that long. So I'm leaving these the way they are. But I changed this, and I changed this, and I changed this. And I know this one jumps off the page now, but I tried it with 2 other pieces of fabric and I couldn't even see it there. So I decided to use some of that turquoise because I've got some of the turquoise here, some of it here, and some of it here. So I thought maybe that would look okay. Jeffrey will have to tell me if it looks terrible, but hopefully I'll have it sewn together before he does. So it'll be too late. So I brought my 1130. This is the second Bernina sewing machine I bought way back when I was 30 something. And so this is my 1130. The last time I had it serviced, the man broke this spindle. I was so sad. But I have it glued back together with E6000, and I keep a spool of thread on it all the time, so hopefully it can't break again. So I've got it plugged in over here. I brought in a table. This used to be a table that I kept the kitty beds on, but we don't have the kitties anymore, so I brought it up here. I was going to use that podium that we do the devotionals from, but Jerry put it on that, and he said, no, you're not using this. So, I'm going to start. Now, I don't do a lot of piecing quilts, as you know. I usually do 10, 12-inch blocks with some kind of applique, like this quilt over here. So I don't do a lot of this, especially itty-bitty piecing. So I hope I can keep track of what 2 blocks go where. I've got a tip for you right off the bat. You can see I took the top half of the top row off. Here it is. Here it is. I just made a boo-boo. I just made a boo-boo on every single block, and so I have to tear this all out after all my hard work. You know what I did? We unplugged the machine to move it in here, right? So it lost my settings that I had on it. So now my needle is in the middle instead of being moved over 1 notch to the right. So these seams are all too deep. So now I'll be sitting and ripping. Then I'll be back. Hey. It's 5 after 3. When did I start this? 1:30. I have had some issues, joy issues, but I've got row 1 and row 2 sewn together. I have tried to be so precise. But oh my goodness. I'm telling you, sometimes you get a really big bundle of seams. I'm assuming because I feel like Edita just dropped us like a hot potato and just left us to do this ourselves. So I don't know if all of the seams are supposed to go one way on one row and all another way on the other row. That's the way I've done it in the past. But doing that, it has caused some major clumps of seams to come together. Right there's one, right here's one, because they're folding down into this. Oh, I don't know. I decided I would just do all the seams to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. Now, I don't know. If you guys got a better way, please tell me, tell me, tell me. As you can see, it makes the quilt, what, about, I'd say about 4 inches. 4 inches smaller going across. But I think it looks pretty nice. I'm upset with myself that these 2 blocks, I happened to choose, because you know I didn't have very many blues. And this are the same fabric. So I wasn't real happy about that, but I thought, you know, from the back of a running horse to top of a mountain, who's gonna care? Just me. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We've got 15 rows by 15 rows. So I hope I'm sewing it together properly. But I think it's going to look pretty much like it already looks when I get it all sewn together. I'm thinking, maybe it'll look better. Maybe it'll look better after I do this. Maybe it'll look better after I do that. I'll tell you what I've decided for a fact for the future. I'm never making another mystery quilt until I see the mystery quilt all done. Then, if I absolutely love it and I have the fabrics for it, then I will make it. But until then, I won't be doing another mystery quilt. All right, it's almost 5 o'clock. I'm going to go downstairs and start dinner. So I have worked all this time from when did I start? 1:30 and now it's almost 5, and this is all I've gotten done. Is the first 4 rows. The points are always a royal pain. And I think the hardest part of making a quilt is pressing the seams, because you have to press them all one way and then the other way. You can't switch which way you press them because it's a seam going the whole way down, so you have to press the whole seam one way. Well, there's places where there's a whole bunch of joins, a whole bunch of seams together, and it just like leaves a clump, and it's hard to press and it's hard to quilt over. And then the points, I kept having to redo. I had to redo this point, I had to redo that point, and I had to redo that point, and I had to redo that point. And they're still not 100% perfect, but I bet from where you are they look fine. So 4 rows, so I figure if I get 4 rows done a day, let me see, that'll take a day, that'll be 2, that'll take a day, that'll be 3. So I guess by the end of the week, maybe I'll have this thing put together. I don't know if it has borders or not. I'm not really a big border person. I don't know what the deal is with borders. Now I do like a border if it has like Edita Sitar's vines and flowers on it. But I don't really like a border just to put a border, because to me the quilt ends here and it doesn't need any more material past it. To me this is the end of the quilt, and the only reason to apply a border would be to make it bigger, in my opinion. Oh, that and $2.50 will buy you a cup of coffee these days. I used to say that in a dime. I don't think it's going to be any kind of a masterpiece or anything. But hopefully I will actually finish it. Oh, I have a name for it. One of you named it for me. Thank you so much. I don't remember your name. There's so many subscribers. But whoever named this for me, Jerry loved it, and he said, that's what I want you to name it. Not that it has to have a name, but I guess you're supposed to name your quilt, right? So I'm calling it Kaleidoscope, because to me it doesn't look like a blasted thing in the world. And somebody said it looks like a kaleidoscope. So that's what I'm naming it. I'm not making any clothes right now, but many of you have asked me what pattern I was wearing one day. I was up here doing a devotional and I was wearing a blouse, and I always get tons of compliments on it. And a lot of you asked me what pattern it was. So I'm going to run in there and get it real fast and I'll show it to you. Thankfully, my battery didn't die. Now you can see here's the fabric I was wearing. I made it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And I always make it out of a knit. When I wear this one, everybody always loves it too. I don't know if I've worn that one or that one very much. But this is what I had on, and this is the pattern right here. It's got a cowl neck, and it's got an empire, an empire, or whatever kind of waist that is, see? It's Simplicity 1698. Here's the drawing on the back. Very easy to make, not that easy to fit because of the cowl top. But of course I did do the fitting. I always have to do the fitting until my body changes. Let me see if I can show you how I did the fitting. For all of those of you who have asked, you can see here, this is the top. You can see this is the cowl up here. And you can see that I've had to add to the cowl. See this part here? I had to add to the cowl because of what I did down here with the FBA. So I can't even explain myself what the heck I did on this. Looks like I did a really good job though. Oh, I had to add more room in the cowl evidently. So I spread it, and so I just cut it down to the apex, and then I spread it up here to make the cowl a little wider. I'm not sure why. Probably because when this got wider, this had to get wider. I don't know. But like I said, it's not easy to do the fitting on this one. Had to lengthen it in the front. Yeah. This was quite a trick. I'm sure glad I saved it because I don't know if I'd even know how to do it again. I probably did a video on it. It was October 2019. Great cowl, Palmer and Pleshed. October 2019. So if you go back in my videos, if you can go back to October 2019, and you can see Simplicity 1698, or you can see me wearing this, then maybe you can see how I did the fitting on it. Because I'm not really sure myself. I'm going to make it some more times though, because I just love it out of those rayons. The ones with all the pretty flowers that I get from Fabric Mart Fabric, and I'm not ordering anymore. I haven't ordered any fabric for 2 weeks. What I do is I make the emails go to spam so I don't see them. Because I've got a little bit of room in here, but I really and truly need to make this my fabric store and start just sewing things up. But right now, I'm finishing this quilt. This weekend we're going to my daughter's house and my granddaughter's house. She's having a Memorial Day and a birthday party for her brother, and I got invited, me and Sherry, so we're so excited. I have a family, I have a family. Alright, I know y'all think I'm completely nuts. I have to go and fix Bernhardt some supper, but I'll be back soon.